Hi everyone, it's Kerry Jeffrey here from Emotional Autoimmunity, and here on my page I like to share pretty openly about my own experiences with chronic illness, but I also like to talk about the emotional aspects of chronic illness and exactly how it feels and what it's normal to feel and experience when you've been given a diagnosis of chronic illness or you're still looking for that diagnosis and getting denied and getting disbelieved. So today I want to talk about, is there still a stigma when it comes to therapy? Now, I am in my late 50s and I remember growing up that there was a massive stigma, especially here in Australia, about mental illness, and nobody would want to go and see anybody like a psychologist who would help them because it felt like you were being given a label of having a mental illness. And if you were perceived as having a mental illness, that immediately brought to mind a dangerous person. Now, here we are many decades later, and we still see this fear playing out in our societies. Anytime something really bad happens, the label of mental illness comes out, as we've seen happen in the shootings over in America recently. There's still a lot of fear about mental illness because, one, people don't want to be labelled as someone who's dangerous or unstable or untrustworthy. Two, for a lot of people, it can feel like a personal failure. It can feel like you're publicly admitting, I'm not strong enough, I'm not capable enough to deal with whatever life has thrown at me. So I need to go and see somebody to help me with that. And that's really unfair, right? It's really unfair. If you think about it logically, we are all social animals. Put somebody in isolation, it can be the worst form of torture. We still have massive issues in our societies and communities today with people living in isolation, people who could go for months at a time without speaking to anybody except the person that they're buying their groceries from. Loneliness is a real issue in our societies. So we are social animals. We're not here to do this all by ourselves. We all need help. And I would love to see the day where people just see it so practically, right? You've got something that is troubling you. You're dealing with a toxic relationship. You're dealing with years and years of guilt and manipulation. You're dealing with the end of a relationship and you just can't seem to get over it. You've been diagnosed with chronic illness. You're feeling alone, isolated. Nobody understands me. You're looking for a diagnosis and you're being told time and time again there's nothing wrong with you. All of these things erode your natural ability to cope. All of these things erode your confidence in yourself. All of these things create doubt that there is something wrong with you. And this is a large part why I do what I do here on this page and in my group and in my work. I want to help everybody living with chronic illness understand that there are normal processes that we all go through when you receive a diagnosis or you find yourself living with chronic illness. We need to talk about it. We need to erase the stigma. So I do believe there is still a stigma there. In my experience, most people will only book in a discovery session with me when they feel that they are at their rock bottom, when they feel afraid that things are never going to get better, when they feel like they just can't cope and they're frightened that what's going to happen if they don't fix that. It's a powerful motivator, right? But I would really like to see people be as practical as if your car engine is making a strange sound and you don't want to have to pay the money to get a whole engine replaced. It makes a lot more sense to go and see the mechanic and catch the issue when it's small. We go to the doctor for normal illnesses because we don't want to become really sick. And chronic illness aside, generally you get what you need and you become better, right? If there's anything going on in your life that you need expert advice about, whether it's from legal aspects to education to any other thing that you're considering doing that's going to add value to your life, you go and consult the expert. And this is what therapists are. They have specific training and knowledge in this field to help you. Now, how do you find the right therapist for you? It is a very personal thing, all right? It should be a very personal thing. You do not book in with the first therapist, whether they're a psychologist or any other sort of therapist, who is recommended to you. You need to feel a couple of things. You need to understand a couple of things. So one, does this person have the knowledge and experience to help me? Have they helped people with similar situations to me? Do they have some sort of experience or expertise in this thing that I need help with? So that's the first thing you look at. Two, do you get an opportunity to actually meet with this person before you book a session with them, so you can find out what they're like, get a chance to talk to them, get a chance to answer questions or ask you questions before you start working with them. Three, when you are seeing a therapist, on the whole, right, on the whole experience, do you leave the session feeling better than when you went in? So there's always going to be sessions with therapy where things might be a little bit uncomfortable, things might be a bit challenging, but on the whole, when you are in therapy, you should be leaving your sessions feeling better than you were before. Right? Four, how accessible is your therapist? Do you have the ability to contact them between sessions or get some questions answered? And that's really important. Five, how can you get to your therapist? Are they a long way away? Is there adequate parking? Do they have the ability to see you remotely online? So can you work with them from home? Now, this is a really big one when you've got chronic illness, because it takes a lot of energy to leave the house, to drive a car, to sit in traffic and to wait. So having somebody who can work remotely online with you is a massive plus when you've got chronic illness. And the most important thing, are you making progress? Do you feel like you can see yourself improving? Are you being given practical skills that you can use in your daily life? Do you feel like you're getting value from the sessions? Now, this is a really big one, because a lot of people don't take ownership of their therapy sessions. They see it in a very passive way. They've been either referred to someone, or they thought they need to get therapy, and they sit there and sort of wait to receive. Depending on the style of your therapist also, a lot of them are very old school. So what they're going to be wanting to do is to reflect back things to you, to try and get that to top of mind, to get you to have those insights, to get you to understand your thought processes. So think about, what sort of therapist do you want? Do you want somebody who will give you solutions, or do you want somebody who will sit and listen and reflect? There are as many different types of therapists out there in the world that you can find and try. And if you're not feeling that you're getting anywhere, then it's time to find a new therapist. Far too often, I will be talking to people who are telling me that they have spent 3 to 5 years regularly seeing a therapist, and they still don't feel any further along the track. And that is way too long. If you're not making progress, if you don't feel like you're being understood, if you don't feel like you're getting any value, then you need to find someone that you're going to get those things for. So you look for a therapist the same as you would look for a good mechanic, or a great doctor, or a really good lawyer, or anybody else in your life. You want someone that you feel comfortable with. You want someone you can trust. You want someone who understands you. You want someone that you feel you are making progress. And you want somebody that you feel when you end the session, you walk out feeling better on the whole than when you went in. So Have a think about that. If you're worrying about the stigma of seeing a therapist, it's a really, really old, scary belief, right? When you hear about somebody doing horrendous things, who's been diagnosed or labelled with a mental illness, you need to understand the percentage of the population that end up doing that is incredibly small. You need to understand that there was a whole series of life experiences and decades that took them to get to that point, right? The majority of people who have been diagnosed with a mental illness are good people, caring people, people not to be worried about, right? They're dealing with something that is a little bit beyond their ability to cope. And people who go and get therapy should be congratulated, right? They should be getting lots of approval for that, because it takes courage. It takes courage to take responsibility for your life. It takes courage to go and get help. And when you do that, that shows that you are serious. That shows, right, that you want to change. That shows that you are taking responsibility for your life. So don't wait till it gets so bad. That's the reason why you hear about so many marriages that still break up despite the fact they've been to relationship counselling, because most people don't go to relationship counselling until one of the parties is absolutely done. They're done. It's past the point of no return. And generally, those sessions are only really used to help the other person understand that the relationship is over. In any event, whether it's your health, whether it's your car, whether it's your job, whether it's anything that's going on in your life, you're going to get much more value out of it. You're going to get a lot more positive results out of it if you take early action rather than wait until it feels like it's gone so far that it's going to be a massive job to fix it. Now, I do offer free discovery sessions. You can book in using this page. The link is in the pinned post on the page. You can also book in from my website at emotionalautoimmunity.com. It's 25 minutes with me, absolutely free. I put you under no obligation to sign up with me. It is not a sales call, all right? I'm not selling you a product. I'm talking with you to see if I can help you, if I feel confident that I can help you. I'm talking to you to give the opportunity so you get to meet me and find out whether I feel like I've got the skills that you need to achieve the results that you want. And at the end of that program, that discussion, at the end of that discovery session, you can have all the information about my program, including which program I recommend out of the 3 that I have that I think will get you the best results. You will have the full information about how much that program will cost you and what the payment options will be. I do charge in Australian dollars, so if you are watching this and you're in America, you're already going to get a significant saving, because the Australian dollar is a lot weaker than the American dollar, and I charge in Australian dollars. And then I'm going to invite you to take a week to go away and think about it. I don't want an answer from you in a discovery session. I want you to go away, think about it, talk about it with your partner if you've got one, and if you feel it's the right thing for you, then all you need to do is email me and we'll get you booked in. But after I send that email, I don't follow up. It's completely up to you. So if you're worrying you're going to get any pressure from me, you're worrying you're going to walk into some sort of loaded situation, it's honestly not like that at all. This is for my benefit, because I do have a certain type of client that I feel comfortable working with and that I want to work with and that I feel I can help. I am not the therapist for everyone. I don't want to be the therapist for everyone. It has to feel like the right fit for me. It has to feel like the right fit for you. And then it's just this decision that we make that we want to work together. So if you're worried about the stigma of therapy, please challenge that. It's not a terrible thing. It does not mean there's something really wrong with you. And before I finish up for the day, and better get ready and go and see my clients, one of the biggest fears of therapy is that a lot of people are worried that they're going to get into therapy and they're going to discover some horrible thing about them that's been trapped in their mind, whether it was something horrible that happened in their family, whether it was that they're a terrible person, whether that you're going to get confirmation that you're a horrible, terrible person. Everybody goes in with that fear that somewhere along the way, some Pandora's box is going to be opened and it's going to make a whole lot of things worse. And I can tell you from all of my years of experience, 12 years as a working therapist, that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. All right? What generally happens, at least in the therapy I do, is that you get the opportunity to find out that you are so much better, that you are so much more lovable, that you are so much more amazing and gifted and talented and worthy and deserving than you thought you were. And that's what this is about. It's about you feeling that you can be the person that you want to be, that you can live a life that creates more happiness, more success, and more abundance for you. So take advantage of my free discovery session if this feels like something that calls to you. Because it's all online, you can see me in the privacy of your own home. There's no traveling involved. I do offer between session support so that you don't need to feel alone, and I will do everything that I can to keep you moving forward as long as you're willing to do the work as well. It's not a passive process. I don't make anybody better. No therapist, regardless of their qualifications, can make you better. It's a joint project where we work together to help support you to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. So I hope this has been useful. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.